Kungamsa, Navalhenge. Lovely to be back with you all with my daily Tuesday briefing. Without further ado, let us dive straight into our daily parliament session highlight. The 8th session of the 17th Tibetan Parliament in Exile, which is a general session, scheduled from 11th to 19th September 2024, commenced today at 9:30 this morning. As per the procedure and conduct of business in Tozo, Honorable Tsokso Kimbostam Tempela made the official announcement of the 8th session and ascertained the requisite quorum of the House. Honorable Speaker then began his opening remarks with the joyous return of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama back to Lhasa after his successful knee surgery in the United States, followed by the recent auspicious offering of long life ceremony by the member community under the leadership of Honorable CM of Arunachal Pradesh, Mr. Pema Khanto. Honorable Speaker then offered a request prayer for His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama to live long as promised, and advised everyone in the house and outside to attempt to fulfill his wishes and guidance in our best capacity. He then offered his appreciation to the government of India and the people of India for its various kind of support provided towards the sustenance of the Tibetan government in exile. He also highlighted upon the successful passage of the US Resolve Tibet Act on unanimous motion on the support of Tibet's right to self-determination in the Canadian Parliament, the vigorous debate on Tibet in Australian Parliament just recently, and finally on the revival of the All-Party Interparliamentary Forum of Tibet with the election of the convener and the co-convener. He then reminded the Tibetans of our fundamental responsibility as per the Tibetan Charter of Exile of advancing the Tibetan resistance. Therein, he guided us through the list of business and agendas of the Parliament in coming days in terms of some of the amendment proposals by both the Parliamentary Standing Committee and Kasha. Also, he brought attention to the major change in the list of business in terms of concluding the 8th session with debate over the motion for the official solidarity on urgent situation inside Tibet, instead of beginning with it as customary. Following which, as per the rules of procedure and conduct of business of the session, Honorable Speaker announced the panels of appointed chairperson and ad hoc committee. With this, we proceeded to the presentation of the official obituary reference to former Tibetan parliamentarian Yonde Gyatso. Then, as per the list of business, the session then proceeded to Sikyum Pemba Tsinla, the incumbent Kanu of the Department of Religion and Culture, Churi Lekung's presentation of the concise 2023 to 2024's annual report of the department, as well as its various autonomous institutions under it, like the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, TIPA, and Nubalinga Institute. Then the reviewed questions on the detailed annual report of the Department of Religion and Culture, Churi Likhung, was presented by a standing committee member. Flashback, this is to remind you all again that the standing committee receives the detailed report on each department and its autonomous bodies few months before the September Parliament session, and accordingly they prepare various queries which are then forwarded back to the respective departments and the autonomous bodies. The written answers to the questions are then presented to the House. So this is a gist. So with the motion for debate on Churi Likhung's concise report and its review by standing committee, Sikyong Pemba Tsinla, the incumbent Colonel of Department of Churi Likhung, presents or rather reads out the department's clarification. Henceforth, the members of the parliament participated in the deliberation over the undertaking of Department of Religion and Culture. Many parliamentarians raised wide range of questions, doubts, and remarks, whether it's on the project on digitalization of the religious texts and documents of the monastic institutions, remarks of Gyal Kamapa on the reincarnation of His Holiness, on the special meeting of Buddhist lamas that was held in 2014, the dire need to focus on the craftsmanship by the monastic institutions as a means to preserving our culture and identity apart from its varied forms, which is decaying at a speeding rate in exile, on scholarships for newly arrived Tibetan monks and nuns, on the status of Tibet House in New Delhi in terms of its right of ownership, trainings and conference specially designed for the members of the monastic institutions. And if I may add in there were in fact quite a number of deliberation this time on the reincarnation of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama in terms of the outlook of CTA, dangers from PRC, and future strategies of Kasha on this matter. So Honorable Sikyong, the incumbent Kalu of Department of Religion and Culture, provided his requisite clarifications to the queries and suggestions raised in the House. So as per the list of business, Sikyong Pemba Sirla, the incumbent Kalu of Department of Homes, Nangsi Lehung, presented the concise 2023 to 2024's annual report of the Department of Homes. They reviewed questions on the detailed annual report of the Department of Homes. Nangsi Lehung by the standing committee was presented again by a standing committee member. So with the motion of the debate on Nangsi Lehung's concise report and its review by the standing committee, Sikyong Pemba, the incumbent Kalu of Nangsi Lehung, tabled the department's clarification. Thereupon, some Chitu registered to table their deliberation today, and about 3 parliamentarians, Chitu, could participate in the deliberation over the undertaking of Nangsi Lehung. Sikyong Pemba, the incumbent Kalu of Nangsi Lehung, then provided his answers to various questions, doubts, and suggestions raised in the parliament. Whether it was on CTA's recent census, on in relation to the reincarnation of His Holiness, or various other projects of the department. So the deliberation on the report of the Department of Homes will continue in the tomorrow's sitting. The session today adjourned at 5 p.m. until 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. So this was it. Thari dagarang sam shagi sani jayo.